Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Monday, August 28th, 2023. It was a slow day at the markets today and actually light volume to boot. So while the intraday moves did prove to be nice at times, if you were able to catch them, things got moved around pretty easily on light volume. So if a larger order came in, it kind of flipped and moved even more than what you might expect, and it was nice. But there is not much to be adding. So I'm going to start here on the 4-hour chart so I can show the whole picture, basically, of what I'm looking at right now. And I continue to just really view this as we saw a minor first wave. So highs are in. Again, I'm still using my preferred count. The highs are in both the NASDAQ and in the S&P, but here in the NASDAQ, highs are done. We finished the first minor wave one down, and that's going to be within the next one up. The first intermediate wave down, and that's within the primary C wave. So all of that just coming down the line as to where we are. So we finished minor one and minor two. So on this basis, we're inside of a minor wave three. And now we drop down to the next level down, which is the minute degree, and that's where we're starting from. We have minute wave one, and we've been tracking and following a minute second wave. Big question at the moment, is it complete? And I'd have to say no, not yet. To the best of my ability, I don't believe that we're actually done with it quite yet. We may have done an A and a B and it's still within inside the C wave. We've surpassed and gotten above and now closing above the 50% retracement level, and which the most common out of it on an Elliott basis are going to be the 50% to 62%. So I'm not putting any label on this yet. It was a slow day, and I think the bulk of trading for this week, again, will come in on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which are going to be the heavy economic data days. So again, just to give a quick review of what's coming, we have on Wednesday, we have the ADP employment. We have GDP, the revision. We have also pending home sales. So, but ADP and GDP, those two can be pretty strong, particularly the ADP, which used to be like totally ignored, and now they're paying closer attention to it. There should be a definitive new or big change, at least of what they're saying, compared to what the previous was and what the forecast is for what will be coming out on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have initial jobless claims. We have the PCE index, and we have the Chicago Business Barometer. But the two that are going to move the market are initial jobless claims and that PCE index. Those two have been market movers. And again, what jobless claims and how that will be. And then on Friday, again, we have U.S. non-farm payrolls, and we have the unemployment rate. Those were both grouped together. They used to be called the employment situation, and now we just are calling them the non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. And then we also have the S&P U.S. manufacturing PMI final, and also the ISM manufacturing and construction spending. So 3 days, pretty much filled with what could really move the market or set our direction. And it's going to come late in the week. I get it, but I think it sets the direction for the balance of whatever this week and also into next week. So back to the charts. I'm leaving room for this to actually get up to 15,164. And remember, these are not hard and fast, but what it continues to get caught up in and traded for a great deal of the time today was between the 50 SMA and the 50 EMA, and then the 20 and the 50. And then we got these little bops and upside, and that kind of got the 4 and the 8 going. Now, above all of this, we do have that resistance at 15,165, I'm calling it, but we can actually say from like 162 to 165 or a little bit above, plus or minus. And above that, we have the 4-hour 200 period EMA. and that's at 15,205. We have continued fib resistance at 15,276. Cannot say for certain what each level may stop or contain, because they all can. Now, a wave 2 can get as close as it wants to 15,418, which was that previous high. It just cannot exceed it. If it exceeds it, then it's not a minute wave 2 correcting minute wave 1. It would change this count into likely this would then become A and this would be B, and we'd probably be heading to 15,575 or somewhere in that area, as we demonstrated, as we saw before in Fibonacci. I can just re-put those up there so we can revisit them. Should that break occur, we have 15,507, excuse me. That would be our next level, and that would be for the minor wave 2. So remember, as I discussed yesterday, and we'll discuss again right now, this does stand a chance, since it's an ABC, it could just be wave A. And then this being an ABC possibly down, that would be wave B. And now we're working on the C wave up. Not a very exciting start, I'll tell you that, but maybe it is turning into more of what could likely be a wave 1, and then a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, getting us up into here, and then we start the minor third wave. So again, those are the two pictures that I'm looking at right now. Again, not much to be adding today, because slow day, summer doldrums type day, light volume, and so not much change to the wave pattern or just to the market itself. Decent update, well, I'll give you that, but it doesn't really change any of the analysis. Over in the S&P, again, quick update here as well, because not many changes to be bringing into play. So again, I'm going to use the 4-hour chart so we can kind of take a peek at the entire picture that I'm looking at right now. Now here, a little bit different, because the S&P has gone above 618, getting and closing above 618, but does that complete the picture? Possibly. But here again, was this an A, B, C? Maybe. Very, very, very strong maybe. In which case, is this then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? We're going to go. So let me add that back in for a larger minor wave 2. These are the possibilities. So again, we have the 50% for minor wave 2. So, and let me just back up one step. It has always remained a possibility that this was only wave A of 2, primarily because it didn't even reach the minimum. It did put in 3, and it did nosedive right off of it. And if it didn't stop, I was thinking very strongly it was going to break 43.50. That may be delayed until later in the week, or even next week, depending, because we still need more catalysts. We need more information, so to speak. That's what the market's going to be demanding. But you're beginning to hopefully understand, as I do, the market's always going to be looking for something more. We need more information. We need another signal. We need something different than what we're receiving, because none of this can be believed because. So again, we're adding that additional level. 44.92 is our next fib resistance if wave 2 is not complete and we still have a little bit of upside left to do. And then we have 45.25 out here. Now, we also have 45.44 to 50. And then the outside would come at 45.73. Now, a lot of people are like, wait a minute, that's going to be like so much higher. That's over 100 points from where we are. And it's like, true. What would be the catalyst? I don't know. You know, what was the catalyst to drive NVIDIA down $14 early on and then close up 8? Order flow. Premium. You know, pick one. So again, I'm not discussing. I don't have any idea what was going to come into the market that'll pull in the buyers and they'll just start buying. I think, again, a lot of it has to do with options trading. A lot of it has to do with 0 DTE options that expire each day. So how a market moves and is fixed on different levels does fall into play. And while we can look at it and say this is a possibility on an Elliott wave basis, the one thing Elliott never, ever proclaimed to do was to be certain on, well, what news event is coming, and that's going to affect that. What's going to cause the move to take it there? What's going to cause the market to tip and turn itself around? It usually is coming as a surprise, even to most people. So again, we know we have news coming out later in the week. Intraday now. So I'm going to take this off so we don't confuse, because right now I'm continuing to hold that we probably may not get very much further, because each time it comes up, they turn it around, they sink it back down, and they've done that twice today, brought it back up. I can't tell you what's going to happen, moving forward, other than we can project that these levels may come into play. And as I just demonstrated, we have 44.92 and then 45.25, I believe it was. But in between, we're now above both 50, the SMA and the EMA. So, but they're kind of flat. So it's going to provide support on the way back down, both of them. The 4 and the 8 are moving up, as you can see. And the 20 is now also following suit and beginning to head higher. Above, again, we have at 44.67.68 is where the 4-hour 200 EMA sits. We have that high at 44.85. That should be resistance. And then we have above that at 44.92 would be fib resistance. And then we have 45.13, which is where the 200 SMA sits, and that's on the 4-hour chart. And then we have, again, the 45.26.28 level, which will provide us additional fib resistance. Outside of all of that, folks, there really has not been very much going on today. There were long periods of just kind of letting the market be the market, and it just kind of twisted itself around. Even if I put it down on an hourly chart, not much to really write home about. You can see, whoop, 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 whoa. So that's kind of chop. And that really was from pretty much from the opening. So here was our opening bar. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hours of basic chop. Decent moves in between, but your basic chop getting nowhere. All right. I am going to complete it there. We don't need to postulate or just continue on. For those of you that may have an interest, I did post. I moderated the Timing Research Crowd Forecast News Show today. It was the 400th episode, and it was the 9th anniversary, and it was great fun for me. I've been associated. I was on show number 2. That's where I began when I started doing these timing research shows, and some great people, some great friends, Dave Landry, AJ Brown, and Mike Persani were all on, and I've all done shows with them before, and just really great people with great thoughts, great conversation. That's posted on their website, on my YouTube page, excuse me. And I'm going to finish it up right there. Our next update will be on Tuesday, the 29th of August.